going on.
What up, brother? So I can get it. Alright, YouTube's delay is much better. What up, Turpy? I figured out what I have to do to get the delay fixed. I've been doing great, bro. How you guys been? Cave Trader, I don't know if you got gifted the sub. I appreciate you for being a sub. Oh, what the hell? I gotta send the Zoom link out. Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I just posted the Zoom link so you can come join on the Zoom side. So, nice, bro. You went on vacation or something? I'm a futures trader, but I bought this forex account on accident. So I've been trading this forex account. But for the past year of me streaming, it's been all futures. I went to go buy an instant funded account and I accidentally bought a forex one. If not, I would be trading futures. But I think that this mistake was for the better. I think this mistake with the 5-minute rule allowed me to see deeper into my strategy and understand that my trades actually go for a lot longer than the small 10-20 pips that I was scalping for. So gonna change the way that I trade. When I go back to futures, I'm gonna be setting a 5-minute timer every time that I enter a trade, and I'm gonna be letting it breathe and get and actually work its way. Very rarely do I get a trade that pops 30 pips and then pulls all the way back and never comes back to my direction. Then with I'm gonna set a sell stop at the break of this low. No, I haven't requested a payout yet. And I went with top one trader on accident, brother. Accident. It was an accident. A very sad accident. What up, Don? Julio, all the delays should be better now. It is a 4-second delay on Twitch, which is normal, and about 20 seconds on. What up, brother? I really appreciate you guys for showing up. You guys are fucking awesome, bro. Some of the coolest people I've met in the history of my trading career. Some of the coolest people that I've met. I'm gonna go break even here. I don't like the way this hourly is going. Maybe we flip bullish here and grab orders up here before coming back down. If this doesn't pull down now and drive down, it'll probably do it later. Yeah, it took me out. I'll wait for steeper confirmation. This is the daily high. We have broken below this range. We are now retesting the range. We could possibly flip bearish and start coming back down again. But then once I looked at the hourly, I don't have an hourly set up here, right? And if we do start going into drawdown and this high gets broken, the hourly would have flipped to bullish after closing above the VWAP here and closing above these levels. So if this wasn't the daily high pullback to grab more orders before continuing up, then it's probably going to happen a little bit later. So maybe we can wait for this 30-minute closure or the next few candles to see if we retest these highs and then we can start breaking back down below the VWAP. Ideally, I wanted to retest previous day's VWAP. So if we start to form support here, I might be able to take some buys targeting this area here, which from here to here is 100 pips. The last payout that I took was from my Robinhood account. I've been trading some options. I was up $1,800 in a single day on an option contract, and there was nobody on the other end of my order to buy the option contract, so it was basically worth $1,800 for no reason. And I went to sell it, and when I sold it, it sold for the negative value that it was at before the spike up. So it closed at like minus 80 bucks, almost $100 loss from being up 1,800. What I should have done was set a limit order, and then somebody eventually could have bought it anywhere, you know, let's say I would have put a minimum profit of 500, maybe somebody would have bought it for 500 instead of me market selling it for 1,800 with no buyers on the other end. But if I put up some limit orders, I could have possibly gotten. Filled. That's the thing with options. The liquidity is so low, there has to be somebody on the other side of your order. Like, you can literally buy a contract that there's no other buyers for it. It'll tell you there's no other buyers for this contract. So why the fuck is your stupid ass posting a contract that there's no other buyers for, you fucking weirdo? It's like you press sell right now and they're like, there's no sellers at this level. Let's wait for this 30 closure. There's no sellers at this level. And you're like, bitch, I'm a seller at this level. Honestly, bro, I have no idea how that works. Literally, all of my option contracts were expiring worthless, and I'm like, oh, does that mean I now have to buy 100 fucking shares? And no, it just Robinhood just says zero. You're basically controlling that amount of shares for a certain amount of time, and when your contract expires, you give the shares back and you keep or lose the difference in profit. You either lose the premium that you paid or you gain a profit. Yeah, the broker doesn't close it automatically. It'll be worth like zero, and then it'll just say zero until expiration date, and it'll just be locked up saying 00000. So that drove 17 pips, and it's now coming back in profit. I'm gonna reattempt the sell stop at the break of this low. Look at that fucking dump. Holy shit. Sucks I had to give a second pullback, but now that we came up to the hourly high, we respected it, and now that we're coming down again. Are you gonna activate me? Yes, activated. So let's set our TP far enough away that it doesn't get activated right away. And ideally, I'm targeting like these areas here. Honestly, bro, you're speaking gibberish to me because all I did was I said, okay, cool. If we're at the daily, if we're at a weekly high level on gold and I start shorting this weekly high level, if we start rejecting and we hit the weekly low of the previous weekly, that's like 1,000 pip move. My contract, maybe in dollar amount, it won't be a lot of money because every dollar that it goes up maybe like it goes up a certain amount in profit. But there's also the premium that the contract is worth, right? So the premium that the contract is worth can go up. So your contract can go up in worth before it goes up in value. Up in premium before it goes up dollar amount. So like the other day when the Nasdaq spiked up, it only spiked up like 1% the whole day. But that 1% caused my contract to be worth $1,800 for several minutes because the value of that contract, people were like trying to buy that contract for some reason. I don't know. So I don't like how this 5-minute closed. That's ugly. This is our 2-hour money printer after closing below. And our money printer flips here. 3-hour as well. 3-hour rebroke the previous high and came back down. The 4-hour is the only thing that's looking slightly bullish. What's up, Benji? For this to be valid, this has to be the daily high. Respect. 30. Coming down, possibly closing bearish. We do have some minor support here before retesting the highs and coming down, just what we did on that 1 minute. If the bearish bias is correct, I think that we should just continue dumping, maybe retest some highs here and then come back down. In reality, I'm trying to see what happens, right? So ideally, I'm gonna start managing risk if we re-break the daily highs. Our next possible area to come down is at the previous daily VWAP. But if we form structure continuing up bullish, this is where my hard stop is gonna be. Ideally, I want to manage risk here. Maybe take a pineapple or put another or lower my stop loss, and maybe pineapple here and lower my stop loss. Worst case scenario. But ideally, I'm going off the higher time frame here. And with this 4-hour flipping bearish and the 3-hour, 2-hour, and all the higher time frames doing the same thing, this could possibly be the 4-hour high. Once we flip here on the 4-hour, we should see a flip for a wick fill. So ideally, we get, you know, a target somewhere down in here. What's this 4-hour flips? I mean, that's just the highest probability. You can manage risk however you like. If you don't like the trade, you can close out break even. The first trade, if you didn't close it, it was up in profit. This 4-hour flip is my decision-making level. So how do we come down to this 4-hour flip? Do we fly down and flip the 4-hour pretty fast? Because if we do, How's your guys' night? How was your guys' New York session? On Wix's trade, we had the exact same idea twice today. Isn't that incredible? How I screenshotted him saying we could have possible sells here, and my pending sell stop was already there. And then he was measuring out where he was going to put his sell stop, and my pending sell stop was already there. And I took a screenshot of both of those, and I was like, wow, we're anticipating the same exact sells. The difference in our analysis was that was a 4 hour flip. The 4 hour flip should give you a solid push to create a bottom wick for that 4 hour time frame, right? It should give you that push. So if I'm taking this 4 hour flip and banking off of the 4 hour flipping, I should be trying to catch a little bit more than normal because it's a 4 hour flip. If it was like a 15, 20 or something like that flip, well, it is a 15 flip, a 30 flip, an hour flip, or whatever. It's an hourly candle at the same time. It's all those candles at once. But whenever it's a 4 hour flip after spending, 2 hours creating that top wick, uh, I do believe there's a higher probability that it's gonna come down. All right, this bullish level that we had here, look at how far down this wick came. Once we closed in it, I believe that we should at least retest it one more time before continuing up, which means it would give us a bottom wick on this 4 hour, or the candle will close, hover around here at 9 p.m. The next four candle will give us a bottom wick and then flip bullish. But I do believe we're going to be headed down here, or at least flip on this 4 hour, and we can go break even then. Small L day for me, 2 losses and 1 win's not bad. We just respected this level to the T. Let's see if we continue making lower lows and lower highs. What was our 30 like? My 30 didn't have barely a top wick. We closed below, yeah. If this is a fake out, I'm definitely gonna look to manage risk once we break the daily high. See what happens around the daily high, because then that would be flipping this hourly. We would be having a wick fill. So if it doesn't dump now and start coming down, this might be where we have to manage risk if we're incorrect on these sell positions. Usually I like to wait for something like a break, pullback, and then on the pullback I take another entry and I move my stop loss here. Because if we reject and we start to come back down, I might be able to catch a break-even trade or a little bit in profit. If not, I'll be risking, I don't know, like 20, 30 more pips. So let's see. What's up, Jonathan? The idea is that 4 hour flip, we created enough range around the daily highs, around that 4 hour high. So pretty much all we do now is just wait. Wait for price to either go against us or to go in our favor. How many pips was this from the original entry? I drove 30 pips from the original entry. That would have been break even on both trades. Today I lost the amount 150 USD. I hate losing money, bro, too, bro. But it's part of the game. And it's something that you have to mitigate as much as possible. I'm from Cambodia. I am from the United States of America. And I live right near the beach. I would expect another retest of this area before actually coming up. I think we're Gucci. I'm originally from Cuba. I was born in Cuba. I immigrated to the United States, and now I am in America. I didn't do much of the work. My family did. And my job is to do all of the work here and make sure that they didn't risk their lives coming to the United States for no reason. So I have to make something of myself and go above and beyond expectations and not just be a regular person, because being regular is luxury for Americans, not luxury for us immigrants. We have to go above and beyond and be exceptional. I do not. I do not. The only group where I am in is my mentor's group through his YouTube stream, and I'm in the Discord over there. That's where I talk every single day. I usually post on my Instagram too, but I do not. I prefer to just keep it on YouTube live streams and to just do a live. Oh, I don't always ignore Kick. Is that yesterday I went on Kick all day and nobody was there. The days that I go on Kick, nobody's there. Maybe that's why my Kick has been dead. I apologize. I gotta have Kick doesn't I apologize. I gotta have Kick doesn't I don't know why the multi-stream doesn't add Kick. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're pivoting here. We are pivoting here. Let's see what it do. The 15-minute is about to close. Yeah, we're Gucci. I think we're just going to be sitting in a little bit of drawdown. I can look at your stock portfolio, but in reality, I don't do much long-term investing besides the basics. I am all in on the United States. So right now, through the whole dump of QQQ, I was full sending QQQ, but I invest in VOO and in QQQ, and I get paid dividends from QQQ. Um, so basically, I'm 100% American stocks. So investing in the Nasdaq and in the S&P 500. The Nasdaq is the one that I prefer, that I like the most because it's got those super wild swings, and with the way the U.S. economy is going and AI is going, we're gonna get another tech boom. And if you're investing now into the Nasdaq will eventually be worth a lot more than what it is. The next tech boom, like the .com boom, is literally coming with this AI shit. Like it's there, bro. So like you can like personally, if you're gonna choose one singular company, I would make that maybe like 10% of your portfolio. The way that I did it, bro, I went in 50-50 S&P 500 then the Nasdaq. And that's just my stock stuff. That's like more of like the passive stuff that I have automatic buys every single day to average in every day. I gotta add 2 wins on stream from yesterday. Israel's at war with Iran. Why isn't the price of gold going up? It is going up right now. Maybe all of this dump was a fake out. The most I've ever traded in one day when like a month ago. If you were here on stream a month ago, so I would take probably like 5 trades in a session. In a day, maybe like 20 trades. But then since I switched over to this account where I'm forced to swing the positions a little bit longer, I've been taking less trades per day. So like if I'm wrong on this idea and we don't reject anywhere here, and I hit stop loss, that'll most likely be the end of the trade for the night. Like 400 something, 420 something. Well, it depends. I made like $1,000 in a day, or I made 1,600 in one singular trade after losing 1,200 on the trade prior. So does it count as a $1,600 trade or does it count as a revenge trade? So it depends, bro. You have somebody that like for example, I was watching TJR and watching some of his videos, and he was like, I just made $137,000, and you look at the trade and he was down like 80,000 before making like 200,000 in a trade. So he didn't say I made $200,000 in a trade. He said I'm up 100,000, 120 something, $130,000. So he was down like 80, made 200 something, and he's like, all right, I made 130 in a day or some shit like that. So it depends how you want to. So exactly, 90% of traders do lose, but what if you're that 10% that doesn't? It's worth finding out. It's worth finding out to see if you're that 10% that doesn't. If you are that 90% that can't get it down after maybe 5 years and you see absolutely zero progress, then cool. You call it a day and you move on to a different something else. But if you're that 10% that can actually do this for real, wouldn't you want to know? Wouldn't you want to find out? Single or married? I have a girlfriend of 8 years that I'm trying to get married to. Yeah, I would say, yeah, exactly. So you can tell if you're in the 10% because you'll be able to formulate a strategy and formulate an edge and understand that you have an edge in the market, and then the part that makes you shift into the profitability stage is your mental aspect after and being able to execute those trades mechanically and without using any emotions, right? That's what's going to shift you into the next level. And that's where a lot of people fail and why that 90% is so large. Maybe that 90% has the exact strategy they need, but because we've been groomed to have such a short attention span, our daily lives are so dreadful and tired, and we're working all the time. Um, Maybe your own personal life is what's stopping you from actually becoming a profitable trader. Maybe all the stresses in your life, you have a child, you have to pay your bills, you don't have a good job, you have your coworker looking over your shoulder as you're trying to take a trade. All of these different aspects are all holding you back, even if you had the holy grail strategy, the perfect strategy. All these other life factors are holding you back. That's a big reason as well why people are in that 90%. They might have the holy grail, but their mindset and their personality or maybe their lifestyle doesn't allow them to actually do it for real and put the time and the dedication that's necessary to making it. That's where it's tough. Like, let's say you join a Discord and there's 1,000 people in there. You know that 100 of those people are going to be making money trading. Worst case, 50 of those 1,000 people are going to be making money trading. Isn't it worth it to join, talk, ask around, become friends with that small percentage of people that's actually doing it for real? And that way, you know who they are, they know who you are, they post an idea, you post an idea, you see how they're able to manage their wins and their losses, and you're like, huh, so that's how somebody profitable does it. So that's how somebody who makes money does it. So that's how somebody who passes accounts does it. But like, bro, like out of 100 people, if 10 of those people have the ability to become a profitable trader and really is the infinite money glitch, wouldn't you want to at least try and give them the opportunity to say, hey, you have the what it takes to activate the infinite money glitch? Do you know the cheat code? It's in your brain. Let me teach you some shit and you can unlock it. Like, bro, I believe that it's worth putting in your time and effort to figuring this shit out. And there's some people that are even more dedicated and put even more money and even more time, bro. There's people that have lost tens of thousands of dollars in the markets and they're still here every single day trying to figure out, okay, what did I do to make tens of thousands and then I lost tens of thousands. Wix's Discord has the clubhouse. The clubhouse, on his membership, you pay like 15 bucks and you get into the chat with all of us. And that's the most valuable Discord I've been in. In Don's Discord, it was mainly like a signal service and people were just trying to make money from him. And nobody was really talking much in his Discord. That's one thing that I found that I was kind of saddened. I thought that in the Discord I would be able to talk to everybody more and be a little more friendly with everybody and talk more, but nobody really talked much in Don's Discord. And I would try to, I would post stuff, bro, and then I would like comment and I would say everybody in here is something. I would compliment everybody or something just to see if somebody would reply, and nobody would reply anything. And I'm like, damn. And then when we opened Wix's, or when Wix opened his, and all of us were the first ones in there, and we just talked every day, posted our ideas every day. We post our losses, we post our wins. We go in there, we're like, yo, I just took a loss for the last 3 days. I think I'm gonna take a break. You know, and then you have somebody else who's like, yo, I just took that same losses. You have also had the same losing streak with da 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 da. And you have people that are doing the same thing as you, maybe taking the same trade as you. Maybe you see a trade setup that you've been trying to, like an idea you've been trying to backtest, and you're like, oh, I don't know. What if I don't know if I want to take it. But then your boy is like, yo, I've been seeing that same thing. And then somebody else is like, yo, I've been seeing the same thing. And then you're like, huh, maybe I can start executing on it to see what happens. And that's how the money printer came out. That's how a play, a setup was invented. It's not invented, it's probably out there. Somebody else probably takes that same exact setup or uses that same exact candle confluence for something. But we identified how we could use it in our own strategy, not by watching a YouTube channel video on the patterns, but by watching how candles play out and noticing current patterns in the market. Trading is gambling. You can call it that. Not a big deal. But there's gamblers that make money. And even if you don't make it in trading, all the skills that you learn from it help you become a better long-term investor. All the technical patterns and fundamental analysis that you bring to the trading table, you're able to use that and use it for your long-term portfolio, and you can start growing your long-term portfolio, and you can actually beat the market because you have a little bit better of an idea of price action, and you can use your own analysis to structure your portfolio in a way that you enjoy or that you like better. Yeah, the thing is that when you are looking at it as in money versus playing the game of price action, think of it as a game. Where can I hop on to get the best possible entry to the drive down? So if price hits that level up there, I'm gone. I'm out of the game. But if price starts to come back down and break the lows, cool, I'm back in the game. Instead of saying, damn, if price comes down, I make money. If price goes up, I lose money. Forget about the money. Focus on price, candles, and targeting your areas. And that's it. Don't worry about the money. You have to structure your losses in a way that they won't take you out so that you can stay playing the game long enough to let probability play in your favor, right? If indeed you are destined to be a profitable trader, keeping your losses manageable keeps you in the game long enough to eventually hit that winning streak or profitability streak where you make all of what you lost back. We just had a 15-minute closure, 30-minute closure, two closed bullish, hourly closed bullish, two. Um, hourly closed doji. We still closed kind of above that area. I wonder if it's gonna break us back into this range. Because what happens is if you start getting a rebreak of the high and you start getting respecting candles here on the higher time frame, we're most likely gonna break back into this range and possibly refill. Yeah, this is most likely high probability that it's gonna be a loss. But we might need a steeper liquidity grab before continuing up. Hey brother, we're all on a journey to continue our successful trading. Does not pay my bills. I am on the way to getting trading to pay my bills. I took out my car payment this month and my insurance actually because my car payment actually got lowered. So now what I withdrew this month was enough to pay for both. But it's still nothing fucking insane, bro. My mentor made over $1 million in the last couple of years trading. My other mentor made over $1 million in the last couple of years trading. I'm nowhere near at the level I'm trying to be at. Yo, somebody just posted on So this is how people gamble in the prop firm trading space, right? 61 accounts in one day. 81 accounts in one day, passed 20, failed 61. I'm gonna have a sell stop if we flip and break this low. And then what I'll do is I'll move my stops down to this range here. And that 5 closed above. Still thinking that we get this money printer here. And that'll flip and actually push us all the way down. If we re-break the daily high, that idea is gone. Which it looks like we might. Yeah, I'm deleting this. It's looking like one of those where it just flies up straight and never gives us an opportunity to come back. So, if that's the case, we won and done it tonight. Normally I would be looking for buys here. To scalp to the top of the range. Yeah, this is just clean structure on the 5 minutes straight up. Let's just be patient. If it hits our stop loss, it hits our stop loss. Yeah, this is a level of rejection. This is also a level of rejection. If it doesn't reject off either of those two levels, there's nowhere else to go but to fill the rest of the range up, which is another 130 pips. No thanks. Or more. This looks like one of those ICT setups. Where I like literally wick this little wick. What up, Hank? You're about to see me possibly take a loss. No bueno. Big dog Hank. Alrighty, the daily highs are being rebroken. Yeah, this is just gonna fly straight to stop loss. We might see some wiggle room here, but I don't see any return just yet. Maybe there was a Trump tweet. Farzad, what up, dog? How are you, bro? What up, big dog? Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't see no,
Bullish 15 closure. Worse data is printing against us. Four-hour never flipped. 4-hour no bottom wick. Where can we grab orders from on this 4-hour? I don't expect us to come all the way up there before flipping. Meds today to help the crippling anxiety that trading gives me. What's been helping my anxiety from trading is reading a book. Books. Look, I'm gonna give you a good example of what I like. Knowing what to do tells you nothing about what happens in your head when you try to do it. It's, well, like I said earlier, you know what you're supposed to do, you just struggle to do it. Failure can be a lousy teacher because it seduces smart people into thinking their decisions were terrible when sometimes they just reflect the unforgiving realities of risk. The trick when dealing with failure is arranging your financial life in a way that a bad investment here and a missed financial goal there won't wipe you out, so you can keep playing until the odds fall in your favor. We're not in this for money, right? Think about it. This is another quote from the book. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. People want to become wealthier to make them happier. Happiness is a complicated subject because everyone's different. But if there's a common denominator in happiness, a universal fuel of joy, it's that people want to control their lives. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want is priceless. It is the highest dividend money pays. We're not in this just to make money. We're in this for the freedom that money gives. Yeah, I'm actually right now in a drawdown trade. Not looking too good. I need to start making highs here and coming back down. Probability of the setup playing out is now like 2080 going against us. I'll be right back. I haven't taken any pineapples. I need to see structure come back my way. No pineapples just yet. No pineapples. Wait for this closure, see what happens. What are you gonna do here, gold? 30-minute close. What does this look like? A bullish closure. It was a very boring session. All I'm doing is sitting down, not doing Napanga. Boom, boom, bap. Boom, boom, bap. Damn, 30 minutes to the next big volume candle. Liquidity. Liquidity. It might just be a hard, slow grind straight to stop loss.
ugly. If my stops get hit, I would be down 30 pips from what I made in New York session. So the idea is to not risk more for me than what I make in a day. And give it breathing room to play out, because when it does play out, it tends to drive. Is anybody in it? Or did you guys get out break even earlier? Whoa. Yeah, that was a clean buy setup once this flipped bullish. You can come on streams and watch. So I'm gonna take a pineapple here with the same stop loss here. Most likely, yeah, this is the last shot. If we hit stops here, that'll probably be the last trade that I take for the night. And then this will put me down 80 pips for the day. I don't send signals or do any of that. I just trade live, and you can watch me trade live. I do it 4 days a week. You can just take my ideas into account and then either say, okay, this idea is dumb as shit, look at this dumbass losing money, or you could say, I like this idea, it aligns with mine, give yourself more confluence to take your own trades. But no, no signal service here. I don't know, for me personally, I was never able to get signals to work. I always lost money taking signals. It is, let's say I'm in a position, right? And then I get into drawdown and you think this second entry is better. You might be able to take the second entry instead of the first and then hold all the way down to the first entry and make a shit ton of money. But let's see if we get stopped out here. Ten minutes here, 10 minutes here. Let's see what price can do. We'll make sure my door's open for my cousin.
Crazy. You seen Alex G blew his Bugatti up, bro? Bro. Hey, Nate, you can ban this guy from Twitch. You gotta send me a little screen recording of how you do that on mobile because I don't know how to do it. I'm the owner of the account and I try to like hold down on his name and it doesn't let me. Nah, it's not your bad, brother. It's all good. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, George. I'm just trying to be as safe as I possibly can, right? If we start to flip bearish here and start create that bottom wick, our probability of the trade just got way higher. We can start holding onto that first target there. Um, I needed to see something form in my favor. We tapped the previous daily VWAP. We formed the 15-minute money printer. At the previous daily VWAP, we started to reject. The 15-minute is now coming down. Possibly if the 15-minute flips, that gives us even more confirmation that we're going to start coming down. Possibly retest these wicks to the lows here. So if we start retesting these areas here, that'll probably put me at like 20 pips in profit. So let's see. Let's see if this 150 pip push up can get us at least 75 pip retracement. But this could still very well come all the way back up, flip bullish, and hit stops. Literally, it can just come all the way back up and hit stops. This has been forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So you just got to be okay with what the outcome is. I'm hoping we can continue hovering down, and then by the 9 o'clock closure, we get that pop down into profit. But this hourly has no bottom wick, right? I don't expect it to continue re-breaking the daily highs without trying to attempt a bottom wick on this previous hourly, attempt a bottom wick on the 4-hour, attempt some sort of bottom wick on the daily. 3-hour is massively overtaking this one money printer on the 3-hour. So we have very, very high probability that we come back down to this level. What up, Bougie? How are you, bro? I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a decent recovery session. I hope them brainial muscles are recovered and ready for the next superset. 3 more minutes, gang. 3 more minutes. What up, my brother Chris? Will you break down what the money printer move is and what it does or how it's supposed to move? Thank you. Yes, sir. When we get out of this trade, I will break it down for you with full eloquency. With full eloquency. I don't even know if that's a word, my brother in Christ. I'm not gonna name names, but I saw somebody today on stream saying, um, chat, if you notice this here, I've been using this as extra confluence or confirmation for my trades. I haven't been taking an entry there yet, but I've been looking at it for extra confluence within my trades. And I'm like, that's the money printer, dog. And I know you're a little bit part of DVS. I know you're in the loop. That's the money printer, big dog. That's the moolah printer. Why do I trade after hours? The Asian market gives you movement sometimes. The Asian market gives you movements quite often. The Asian market has been giving me anywhere between 50 to 100 pips a session for the last 2 months, maybe 3 months. Every single Asian session has been over 50 pips, with multiple sessions at 100 pips. Not just multiple, a lot. So that means that I've been scalping up to 100 pips and also intra day trading, like holding for like longer. The 9 o'clock just opened. The 9 o'clock created a top wick and it's starting to come down. You don't know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm saying either. If you like pina coladas, getting lost in the rain. Making love at 3 at night. Da na 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 na. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Wow, 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 wow. I'll explain in a little bit. Once we hit $2,000 million in profit on this trade, I will explain to you, my boy, no worries. I do trade market open. You know those trades where you go into profit and then you hold it and then it goes all the way back to stop loss? That very same thing could easily happen right now if the Asians don't dump the market to create that 4-hour bottom wick. Whoa, what was that? Yeah, that's gonna take us out. A Trump tweet just happened right now. Holy shit. I was hoping that went the other way, but well, I guess we're gonna get taken out and I get to explain the money printer early here. Yeah, there was nothing I could do there. There's full stops almost. And that is stop loss. Well, what can I do? If that thing starts to come down now, bro, holy shit, that would be so fucking annoying. Yeah, there was nothing I can do there. 100 pip 1 minute candle. Well, let's explain what the money printer is. So, the money printer let's say you have a resistance, support, and you have candles driving up, and then you get a candle that closes like this. No top wick, respecting resistance here. So you have a no top wick, respecting resistance here. And the next candle first does this. Without creating a bottom wick, the candle flips, comes up bullish, grabs the top wick, and after grabbing all of these orders, the candle then does this. Wick comes back to the opening. Oop, nope. The wick is now going to be red. Boom. The wick is now going to be red. So you're going to have a red wick here, and then the candle's going to flip bearish. Oop. Fucking shit. What the hell's going on? This is the money printer. This setup here. So we would be taking entries. Where can I draw? We would be taking entries here to flip us back into range as a reversal trade. So you can start to look for these kinds of entries within smaller time frames. So let's say you're driving bullish, you hit a resistance, you get the money printer, and then you can look for this setup to sell. And that's basically what the money printer is. Oh well. So I'm gonna call it a night here. It looks like it's probably, now that it tapped that area to the T, it's probably gonna come down and put us in profit like a little bitch, but it is what it is. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I appreciate you guys for showing up. I hope that you learned a little bit. This was unfortunate. This wake up to pull this down was unfortunate. No, I don't expect us to fill this entire range. I expect us to reject somewhere in here, but I can't take a higher stop loss anywhere in here. That's too much. So I'm just gonna call it. Have a wonderful day, gang. Peace. Thank you, Zoom, for showing up.